watching Shalom TV, celebrating Jewish culture. Funding for Shalom TV has been provided by the following. And by viewers like you.
This is Alan Orich for Shalom TV at Kosherfest, the extravaganza of Jewish and kosher food here at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. There are kosher foods from all over the world, from all over the United States, Canada, South America, Australia, South Africa, Asia, all over Europe, and of course, Israel, Israel, Israel. I'm here with Paul Ben-Sabat, the co-owner of the Manischewitz Company, one of the biggest and most famous kosher food companies in America. Is that right?
No. It is the most famous company of kosher food in North America. Actually, you know, we're indeed, you know, what I would call one of the pillars of the kosher industry since we were founded in 1888, so 122 years ago. And clearly Manischewitz is, you know, a staple in every Jewish home and has been for this past 122 years.
So tell us what Manischewitz has to offer this year.
Well, actually this year, you know, we went into a pretty exciting new product spree, and we're introducing something pretty unique, which is 30 new items, which is the most that the company has ever introduced. And you know, we are actually very excited because we have products of all types available, both on a daily basis as well as on a kosher for Passover.
My 7-year-old son is a big fan of Tam Tams of every flavor.
Well, and I'm glad to hear that, you know, every kid is a fan of Tam Tams, and even adults are a very big fan of Tam Tams. This is the new one, you know, the one that's got the sesame flavor on the regular Tams. You know, we've also made the regular Tam Tams trans fat free with a health and wellness icon at the bottom. And the tiny Tams here in the resealable packaging comes in sea salt, barbecue, or sour cream and onion, which is carved again. So that's one exciting adventure and great news for all the Tam Tam lovers. We're also introducing in the soup, ready-to-serve broth. We've made some major inroads over the past year that turned us into the #1 kosher soup manufacturer now in the United States. And we are actually introducing 6 new flavors. One is vegetable, and then the other 5 are actually with chicken. We have matzo ball and chicken reduced sodium, chicken noodle reduced sodium, and chicken and rice. And those are, you know, literally exploding right now because the demand for these items have been so great. It's an all-natural product, 100% no preservatives, no MSG. So it is, and obviously kosher product. So it is really the ideal broth that you could ever dream of. That's for the broth, and those are, you know, for all year round, not just necessarily for Passover. We're on the Passover end, you know, we've introduced, you know, a tremendous amount of new varieties. One of them is, first of all, on the frozen section, we have now paired the Manischewitz brand and the Ratner's brand, which are both part of the same group, and we are launching some pretty exciting new items of blintzes, you know, blueberry for Passover, blueberry blintzes, cheese blintzes, potato blintzes, as well as sweet potato pancakes and regular pancakes. In terms of other new and exciting products, you know, we're introduced a whole new line of confectionaries. You know, we have, you know, as you can see over here, chocolate biscottis, we have chocolate covered crackers, chocolate covered matzahs, which are all in the brand new design packaging, which is extremely upscale and very, very appealing to kids. Also, because kids, you know, are very, very big with snacks, and that, you know, Passover is a time where we need it, we've introduced a very exciting new product, which is a cupcake mix, a cupcake fun cake. And, you know, basically kids can make directly themselves the cupcakes. You have all the ingredients that, you know, that you need in there.
I've never seen kosher cotton candy packaged before.
And that is another one of the exciting, you know, product we have into the arena of candies and snacks, and that is, you know, the cotton candy, both in a blue and pink. And obviously those are fun for kids, you know, during the Passover season.
Many of our viewers are all over the country, not just in New York, Florida, California. they can get Manischewitz products anywhere?
Absolutely. Manischewitz is distributed nationwide, and I can tell you that, based on the excitement that we've had, when we've made our presentations over the past couple of weeks, the past few weeks, from all the retailers in the country and all the distributors in the country, that it is very clear that, all of these products are going to be found on the shelf. And, and whenever there's an area where one of them doesn't find them, you should just ask for it, and the buyers will bring them in.
Very good. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you very much.
This is Joel, who is the couscous chef here for Osem, a major Israeli food company, perhaps the major Israeli food company. Joel, first tell us, what is couscous?
Couscous, it was made in the 1950s by the Prime Minister. They needed a cheaper way of cooking rice, so they decided to make couscous. They cook it over like an open flame, open hot flame, and it holds flavor. It's very good at holding flavor and stuff like that, so you can put pretty much any material into it and kind of ingredients, and you get a good flavor out of it, depending on what you put into it.
It's a very common food in Israel, but not so many Americans know about it.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but I think it's still on the up and coming. I mean, there's still this new couscous right here, the new tricolor, which is right here, and the wheat pasta leaves a lot of room for different ingredients in different ways, different dishes. You could have a dessert dish, you could have a dinner dish, you could, depending on what you put into it, you can really get a lot out of it.
How many steps are there to making couscous?
That's the thing about it. It's very simple and easy. I mean, you saute up your ingredients, like say in this one right here, you have sun-dried tomatoes, olives, a little bit of mushrooms, and you saute that up. You add the couscous, a little bit of parsley, and then vegetable stock, and cover it for like 10 minutes, and it's done within 10 minutes. It's a beautiful dish. For the Mediterranean style of couscous we do, we use the olives, a little bit of mushrooms, sun-dried tomatoes, garlic, of course, and you saute those up, and you get the couscous going in it, and at the end you'll add a little bit of parsley, and you're done.
Here with the legendary Susie Fishbein, writer of an enormous array of very popular kosher cookbooks. Well, first let's talk about your new book, Susie.
New as of 11 o'clock this morning, Kosher by Design Teens and 20-somethings, cooking for the next generation.
Do teens and 20-somethings cook in the same way?
As the same way as old women like me? No. They have, I think, a fresh approach to what they're doing. There's, I think, two kinds of people that make up that demographic. One, raised on fast food, easily accessible to kosher fast food, and they want stuff that'll kind of mimic what they're used to eating in a Mexican restaurant, in an Italian restaurant. And then I think a large portion of that demographic is very conscious about what they're putting in their bodies, and they know about healthful cooking, and they know what good ingredients are. And so I feel like I had to write for both ends of that spectrum.
Now, healthful cooking is one of the things that brings people back to eating kosher food. Am I right?
I think that there is a feeling out there that kosher food is somehow healthier, but really it's what you end up putting in your recipes. If the meat is kosher and it's a healthful recipe, then the kosher food is healthier. But you can slather it with unkosher, with kosher margarine, and it's no longer a healthy recipe. So it depends what else is in there.
So tell us some of the recipes you find interesting in Kosher by Design.
The Mexican chicken has been a huge hit. The pizza empanadas, the pesto salmon, the Parmesan quinoa. I can go on and on.
Tell me about the Parmesan quinoa.
My daughter developed that recipe for me over Passover, when quinoa is a very in vogue. It's not a grain, but it feels like one. It tastes like couscous. Great quality Parmesan, a very simple recipe. You cook up quinoa the way you cook up rice or pasta, and really healthful. It's a protein, so kids can feel good about eating it, and it just tastes great.
What kind of soup do you have in here?
We have some great soups, actually a really cool one. I know kids of this age are very into pizza, so there's a recipe for pizza soup that takes all the ingredients of pizza, a ramekin of a good tomato soup with a bread crouton and melted mozzarella cheese on top. You put it under your broiler, and it's called pizza soup. I think kids are going to like it.
And how about desserts while we're talking about kids?
Desserts, a molten deep dish chocolate chip cookie, a coconut angel food cake, tie-dye cookies, a chocolate ganache tart in a pretzel crust.
One more time, a chocolate?
Ganache tart in a pretzel crust. I love pretzels and chocolate together. I think that's like a woman thing, a lot of women do. And so it takes actually Oreo cookies and pretzels and makes a crust, a chocolate ganache filling, and it's then decorated with pretzels.
What do you think young chefs can learn from this? Are there spices? Are there things that they're not used to that they're learning for you for the first time?
I think for a lot of people of this age, it is their first time coming into the kitchen for something other than chocolate chip cookies or Rice Krispie treats. So I'm hoping that they're going to learn how to nourish themselves and go into the kitchen for things other than just desserts, to learn how to make a meal, to feel comfortable to put out a meal for their friends or their family. And that's what I'm hoping they'll get from this.
Tell me some of your other books.
Kosher by Design Entertains, Kosher by Design Short on Time, Kosher by Design Kids in the Kitchen, Passover by Design, Kosher by Design Lightens Up, and now Teens and 20-somethings, also by Kosher by Design.
Yes. Short on Time is one of my wife's favorites.
Excellent. Most people are short on time. She'll like this book then because he's obviously, for the audience, they're quick and easy. They don't require a lot of equipment. So someone who's short on time will appreciate these recipes.
And now you're here at the booth of
Collatin, which I'm very excited to be representing here at the show. The first ever kosher bovine gelatin, which allows you basically to do things like, well, not that you would always want to turn your desserts over, but it has the holding power, the staying power, so that you can make beautiful desserts that have, the ability to slice. Or at the show today, we did a no-bake dulce de leche cheesecake. The recipe is in the Teens book. It is fabulous. It's 5 ingredients. Normally cheesecakes take a whole lot of cream cheese, 4 bars in a typical cheesecake. This has 1. It mixes together in a bowl. You pour it into a crust and into your refrigerator. So there's no baking, there's no cracking of the cheesecake, there's no water bath, which can be like a dangerous thing. It's like a 5-minute and into the fridge. So I think people are going to find that to be a very useful, the unflavored gelatin to be a useful ingredient in making desserts that's set up quickly and easily.
See, and this is available as an ingredient where?
In supermarkets all over the country.
And how is it better than other gelatin?
It's the first ever kosher bovine gelatin. The reason in 7 books why I've never written a recipe using gelatin is typically kosher gelatin had no holding power because it was made out of fish bones, which are not really bones. So there was no collagen in them to give it any kind of body. This is the first time there's ever been a kosher gelatin that is, from animal skins, and so there is the collagen in it that gives it the hold and the body and all the things that you'd be looking for in a gelatin.
And you being one of the writers of kosher cookbooks that are very creative and very up to the minute, this sort of addresses the old stolid view of kosher food, of people hearing, a kosher restaurant? I'm not in the mood for flanken.
Right, absolutely. Because kosher is not necessarily traditional Jewish food or Ashkenazi food. It just means that the recipes are using, that I'm using kosher ingredients. If I'm making a chicken dish, I'm going to make sure I buy kosher chicken, but there's nothing in these recipes that would make you say, oh, that's not for me. They're for everyone, and that's I think why they are doing so well. The book already has gotten some great press from kosher and non-kosher bloggers. That was really kind of like the PR push. We sent the book out in preview to bloggers to write about, not necessarily kosher bloggers, and I think that the appeal has been very widespread because of that. People saying, I'm not kosher, I'm not even Jewish, and I love this book, and that kind of makes sense to me. There's nothing Jewish about maple roasted pears and sweet potatoes. I would just make sure not to...
Except that they're delicious.
They are absolutely delicious. And sticky and yummy and perfect for fall.
Thank you so much, Susie Fishbein.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Jay, what's going on here today?
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. We've got people literally from all over the world: Brazil, Australia, Argentina, France, you name it. They're here, and of course from all over the country, as far away as California and even Hawaii, I understand. And they're all looking for what Jews want everywhere. If you're observant and you're kosher, you still want to be like everybody else. You want to have the finest wine, whether it's Herzog or Baron Herzog.
Before you go on, a lingering stereotype. I've still heard people say, oh, kosher wines, you mean that sweet honey, sweet sugary stuff. Why don't you clear that up for them?
Well, it's not true, actually. And the reason why most people have thought of that is because during the turn of the last century, when Jews came to America, the only grapes available were Concord, and they required sugar to be palatable. But in Europe, the Jews there in France, drank French wines. In Italy, they drank Italian Chiantis. in Israel, of course, they drank the local grapes that were grown there, which were first planted by the Rothschilds. So you're talking about some great wine. So and now it's come full circle. Americans are now drinking great wines. In fact, the largest single Moscato from Italy in America, not kosher, it happens to be kosher, it's Bartonura Moscato. So
you mean the largest of any kind, it happens to be kosher?
Happens to be kosher, and that's Bartonura Moscato in the blue bottle. So, as I was saying before, what Jews really want, what observant Jews really want, is wine and foods that are as good as any of the non-kosher wines and foods.
Let's start by talking about some of the wines. You want to pick out a couple of favorites?
Sure.
Talk about them?
You know, one of the hottest wines we've got is Jeunesse. This wine is a semi-dry Cabernet. Lots of people talk about wanting to drink dry wines, but really they mean not quite dry. And so here's a very serious wine made from Cabernet that also is quite delicious and a little bit off dry. Teal Shiraz is Teal Shiraz is an Australian Shiraz. It's very reasonably priced at about $10 or $11, and it sells well everywhere. But the wine that I was talking about before, a wine that is found in almost every corner of this great country of ours, is Bartonura Moscato. And Bartonura Moscato, as I said before, is the largest selling Moscato from Italy in America, kosher or non. Examples abound. PLCB, which is the state of Pennsylvania, has over 300 stores. It's registered in all 300. And believe me, except for Pittsburgh and Philadelphia area, there's not too many Jews in the rest of the state. So, like I said, Jewish people are observant, and there's also becoming more of a perception that kosher wines are really high in quality. These are wines that are non-kosher chateaus and estates that have decided for us to make a small cuvee, a small run, kosher. It means we bring in our winemaker, we handle all the processing, but it's still made the same wonderful way that the original non-kosher is made. And these are 90+ scores.
From the same grapes?
From the same grapes in the same winery. So there you go. This is another example. The only other area in wine that is of special note is the wines that are coming from Israel. Israel is now being recognized as one of the great new places to get great wines from. Until about 20 years ago, when the Golan Heights was taken back after the Yom Kippur War, most of the wines from Israel were, at best, okay. Now, some of the best wines in the world are coming from Israel, and that's from international competitions.
Is that because of the volcanic soil in the Golan?
It's the volcanic soil in the Golan, and it's the steep climbs in the Judean hills. So the two kind of Napa and Sonoma, if you will, of Israel are the Golan for the Napa area, and Bordeaux would be considered kind of like the Judean Hills area, where you get more complex flavors and wonderful, delicious wines from the Judean Hills.
Let's see what we have here.
Well, you have, if you look up on top, you have the Castel wines all the way over on the right from the Judean Hills. And Binyamina, one of the better wines from Israel that's making well-made wines. You have Yatir. Well, here's a new Yatir wine. I don't know if you can see it. Viognier from the Judean Hills area. And of course, the Gamla wines. Gamla wines are coming from the Golan Heights. So we've got the breadth and depth of variety from Israel here available in America, and it's wonderful. People are recognizing there's over 50 restaurants that are not kosher in New York alone that are carrying some kind of Israeli wines.
Now, I noticed that some of the Golan wines are now marked Galil, is that correct?
The Golan wines are marked Galil because America officially doesn't recognize the Golan Heights as being part of Israel. So we have to call it Galil instead of Golan.
People very often ask, what makes wine kosher?
What makes wine that is kosher is processed in the exact same manner as wine that is not kosher. The only difference is that from the crushing of the grape until the sealing of the bottle, it's handled by an observant Jewish person. Or from the crushing of the grape until the wine is flash pasteurized, it's handled by an observant Jewish person. And that has a long and ancient traditional history behind it from the Talmud. It has to do with pagan use of wines during pagan times. And if we've got about 4 more hours, I can give you that shiur.
I'm here with Simon Normand of Galil Foods. You're an importer of kosher food from Israel, is that right?
Yes, kosher food from Israel and all around the world.
Okay. So tell us what you've got here that's new this year.
This year we're displaying a few different items. Maroon baklava from the Nazareth from Israel. Their main product that they have is a baklava, all handmade from Israel, very top quality, shelf stable, which is the most important part.
Explain for our viewers, what is baklava?
Baklava is layers of phyllo dough covered with sweetener and nuts and different varieties of items, and it's baked into a pastry of different kinds. Like here you can see, they come in different ways, different shapes and styles. A basket, a layered one, or a roll.
It's a very sweet dessert.
It's a very sweet dessert.
I see an Israeli standby, the chocolate spread.
Yeah,
a lot of Americans don't know about that. Why don't you tell them?
It's a staple. You see it in almost every Israeli home. It's almost like peanut butter, in the States. It's a very nice item, high quality chocolate spread. And it's very versatile. You can
put it on bread, on crackers?
Bread, a bagel, crackers. You can use it as a filling in cakes. Has a lot of uses. And we have a few different kinds of styles. We have it in white chocolate. We have a parve version, a dairy version.
Pesach version?
Pesach version too. And one of the best parts of it is that it's nut free. So it's good for all the kids and all. Whether they have allergies or different kind of allergens. If they have a dairy, we have non-dairy.
And good on matzah too.
It's amazing on matzah. So it makes Passover a little bit better. These are all imported from Israel, from all around the world. What we try to bring is different products, kosher products, to the market for all our consumers who are looking for a variety, so they have different tastes and just to have an array of products. So
what's unusual they can't get elsewhere?
Listen, there's a lot of items like there's a sunflower seed, gourmet style sunflower seeds. We bring in a special tuna that's kosher for Passover and year round. We have a special Turkish delight from Turkish that it's a sweet jelly snack with candies and nuts that you can't find in the States. Also we have dolma, which is also from Turkey as well, which is a stuffed grape leaf with rice and spices. And these are all kosher and kosher year-round, and you get available sea salt, all different kinds of spices.
And a variety of jams, I see?
A variety of jams as well. We just brought in all kosher certified, all at a very affordable price, especially in this kind of market, and good quality. The most important thing is when you see our Galil label, is all quality. These are all frozen products from Israel. Baruch has different kinds of specialty items that are Israel. They're all handmade in Israel, all with high quality products. And it's very unique that you can't find in the States here.
So a baruch is sort of like a phyllo knish?
It's a phyllo dough filled with all different kinds of items, whether it be mushroom, different kinds of cheeses, potatoes, spinach, all different kinds of stuff. Even we have like a specialty egg roll, a pizza pinwheel. It's a very nice item, and it's easy. Defrost it, throw it in the oven. It's a quick meal if you don't have anything at home.
We have done Turkish delight, and we have done baklava. Just one more Mideastern snack. Tell us about halva.
Halva, it's a very nutritious snack. It's all based with tahini items. This is the core of all the halva items, which is tahini. And the halva is made with tahini and sugar, and it's a very sweet Middle Eastern snack, very healthy. It was a few years ago, they asked one of the oldest people in Israel, they said, how did you get to this age? I don't know what it was exactly, 90 or 100 years old. They said, what did you have? And one of the staple items that they said that every day they had a piece of halva. And that was that and dates. We also have dates from Israel as well, and that was one of the staple items that they said that attributes to, I don't know whether it's true or not, but it's a nice tidbit to know. So that's what it is, and we have different sizes of packages, different styles of it, whether it be marble, vanilla. It's all very delicious and sweet. So
wonderful. Thank you very much, Simon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Jean-Pierre, what is an artisan wine?
An artisanal wine is a wine that it's actually been crafted. Like this one was like a small production. That's really an artisanal wine. In this case, we actually, we're a medium-sized Israeli winery, which by American standard we are definitely very small. but at the same time, you know, every single bottle has been crafted like as if it was like the only production ever.
So what is the name Recanati?
Well, Recanati is actually our last name. The owner of the company is Leonardo Recanati, as you may gather, is an Italian last name. Well, one of his ancestors was Menachem Recanati, was a famous Torah scholar, and his family moved first to Greece and then to Israel, and then we became bankers. It was actually their primary activity, and in the late 1990s they decided to open a winery. And in 2000 was actually the first vintage, and we've been around ever since.
Three years ago, a long-awaited kosher cookbook came out. People refer to it as the bride who knew nothing. It's quick and kosher cooking for the bride who knew nothing. Jamie Geller wrote this book, and now she has a new book called Quick and Kosher Meals in Minutes.
Still from the bride who knew nothing, because that's still me. That will always be me.
So tell me, how did you come to write the Bride Who Knew Nothing books?
Well, basically, I was a bride who knew nothing. I was a bride who knew nothing. I'm actually I wasn't religious. I wasn't kosher. I was a TV producer for HBO and for CNN. And suddenly I got married and became religious, and my husband brought 20 people over for Shabbos. And I was like, help! And that's how I had to figure out how to cook out of necessity.
So how did you start?
With a lot of mistakes. It was a disaster on wheels in the kitchen. I mean, really, it was just like, a nebuch to watch. Just a really, really hard time in the kitchen. But my husband was a caterer, and he showed me how to cook. He showed me a thing or two. And kudos to all the men out there who cook. They are amazing. And that's how we started.
As you said to me yourself, I'm going to write a book. Now tell us about the new book.
Okay, so the new book is Meals in Minutes. So they call me the Rachel Ray of kosher cooking, so I figured let's take it to the next level. The first book is arranged as appetizers, sides, and salads. This is arranged as complete meals. Turn your brain off. Main, side, wine suggestion for every menu, 20, 40, 60-minute meals, and a holiday chapter.
How long have you been married?
7 years, almost in March.
You have children?
4, thank God.
So you really need sometimes to turn your brain off, am I right?
Yes, sometimes it just goes off on itself, It's just like after the day and a long day, I have a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a full-time job, and a cookbook tour, and I tour the country. So yeah, I need things that really make my life easier.
And you cook?
And I cook, yeah, sometimes, but definitely easy cooking, quick cooking, and whatever really that we can just get on the table as quick as possible.
Now, is that you over there on TV?
That's me. That's my cooking show.
You're involved in kosher.com, is that right?
Yes. Kosher.com is the world's largest online kosher supermarket. It is 2 models. We have a local model, which is like Fresh Direct, the local New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Free refrigerated truck delivery, local, free next day refrigerated truck delivery, and nationwide like Amazon. We actually ship kosher food all over the country.
Wow, amazing.
Yes.
So what's the most unusual food on kosher.com?
Well, we have kosher caviar, which is fabulous. Let's see what else. What's unusual? Well, that's really on the spot. Kosher gelatin, kosher marshmallows. Those things aren't unusual, but they're things that weren't readily available to the kosher consumer before, and now it's like kosher, non-kosher. Everyone buys up those marshmallows. They're fabulous.
And what's the oddest place you've sent kosher food to? Some of the unusual places?
Well, in terms of important, actually, we've sent all the way to the soldiers who are stationed in Iraq. We've sent to a children's school in Russia, and then we send everywhere from Hawaii to LA to Minneapolis. So we've done it all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jamie. Appreciate it.
A pleasure. It's so much fun to be on Shalom TV.
Every year there are prizes at Kosherfest for some of the best new products. And this year's best new beverage is Elite Naturel watermelon juice. And here we have the president of Elite Naturel, Ali Suman. Tell us about this product.
Our product is different than other juices. We are not from concentrate, no added sugar, 100% direct from the fruit. We squeeze the whole fruit to the bowl, and we don't filterize it. When you look at our bowls, all the fruit on the bottom, it's 100% direct juice. We have nothing added.
And where is this made?
They're made in Turkey, and we distribute in Long Island, New York. We're in the all New York big stores, Fairway, Whole Food, Garden of Eden, Gamish Market, all the stores that carry the product.
So watermelon's the big hit this year, huh?
This is the big one this year, yes. Looked like it beat the pomegranate so far.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Ali. And one of the high spots of every year's Kosher Fest is Eitan's Bakery with amazing kosher fresh foods. of every kind. So what's new this year?
We have a whole line of delicious cookies that come pre-packaged over there, and we get them now in bulk if someone also wants to buy them in bulk cases and retail them themselves or repackage them themselves. It's absolutely amazing. A whole line of bake-off breads from Israel here.
How do you get fresh bread from Israel to here?
Everything comes par-baked, and it's being finished off here in the United States. We bake it off here. We have a whole complete line.
You mean the dough is half-baked and then you send it here?
We finish it off here, yes. Over here we even have a whole line of hamburger rolls, hot dog rolls, all kosher for Passover. There's no matzah meal in it. It's all based on a potato starch recipe. We have assortment of cookies, cakes. We even make rugelach here, kosher for Passover. Absolutely amazing.
Now, some of our viewers may be wondering, how can you make rolls and bagels kosher for Passover?
Well, that's the secret recipe in Israel that's been developed, and it's been developed by the bakeries in Israel, and they formulated it more to the American market. You can see some of the rolls, the bagels, hamburger rolls. As you can see, all kosher for Passover. Absolutely amazing.